You know, it's hard. I know all of you are hurting too, and you are. But what can we do, children? What could we do? It's time to move on, and you know, we never know what God has in store for us. But we just have walk along by faith through God's efficiency. He said he'd make a way where there seemed to be no way, Katie. And he will. I love him this morning. I just give him praise for my children. Oh, I thank him so much, children. I don't mean to make you cry. Sometimes my heart just overflows with the love I have for you, Nick, Tanner, Heather, all of you. All of you, every one of you. I love you so much, and I know God loves you too. My husband, I couldn't make it. Me and him and the Lord.
Sweetheart.
Well, Art and I were talking on the way to church this morning. And it's always been a fact with us that when one door closes, he opens another.
Yes.
Oh, he's done that for us.
Yes.
And we're expecting it again.
Amen.
We do not know what's in store for us. But I guarantee you, it's something good.
We'll walk along by faith.
Anything that comes from God has to be good. So try not to worry about what's happening, because it is a necessary thing. We have no choice. So it's time for us to move on and do other things. The main thing we want to do is stay in God's will. You know. And sometimes our own thoughts, our own wants get in the way. But with his help, you know, when we went to Kentucky, we didn't know nobody down there except our kids, Heather and Mary. And we were praying for a church. First church we went to treated us like we always had been there.
Royalty.
And this minister still calls me at least every other week. See how we're doing. This is the way God's people should work. You know, I was reading this morning before we came, it wasn't even about a lesson, but I run across something. And I'm guilty of this, same as everybody else, I guess. I know Kay and I have talked about this before, more than once probably. About taking one verse in the Bible and not following it through. That's where this word that I've been talking a lot about, understanding, comes in. How are you going to understand what the Bible means if you don't read the following verse to where it explains what it really means? I know Tanner and I was sitting there this morning, and he asked me, what are you reading? Well, I'm going to read what I read before I get into my lesson. And my lesson this morning, oddly, peace, perfect peace. That's what he'll give us. I know he will, because he promised it. This is in John. No, wait a minute. I'm going to go back here. Matthew. That's my lesson. I think it's Matthew 14.
New Testament.
Well, I lost it. Anyway, I know. I wrote it down.
You say Matthew.
It's one
Say
of my
14.
favorite verses in the Bible anyway, and and I have quoted it more than once myself. Where
Don't have my
the
glasses.
Bible was talking about where you cast the net out into the sea and you gather all kinds
Fish.
into your net. Okay,
Where's it at? Matthew what?
I couldn't find it.
Okay. I'll find it for you.
But, see, what people want to use that for is to say, well, he said, and it does say that he's going to cast that net out and he's going to gather all different kinds of people in. And he is. But, what does the next verse say? The next verse says, and then they separate the good from the bad, and the bad are cast into a fiery furnace. Puts it all together, different outlook on that verse. I like the idea of him gathering all kinds of people in, and I always thought that in a way meant that it didn't matter what, and I still believe this, it doesn't matter whether you're Methodist, Baptist, Pentecostal, what you are. If you are a child of God, you're all right. But that second verse is what really makes that whole thing understandable. Well, I should have wrote it down.
It's in John 6, honey.
Huh?
John 6, I believe he's looking for.
Is that it? I thought it was Matthew. If you find it, read it.
Wait a minute, it's different. This one is where the, no, that's not about the net. This one's where they gathered together to the
It was
loaves
in
and the
Matthew, I know.
fishes, yeah.
I just-
Matthew, you see? Okay.
I just don't know why I didn't make a note of it when I was reading it this morning. I just picked up the Bible and opened it, and that's what I opened it to, so I just started reading. I do that a lot. A lot of times I'm sitting there, rocking chair, and I'll just pick up my Bible, and I'll open it up. Wherever I open it to, that's what I read. And he has given me many good thoughts from just doing that. You don't have to have a particular thing in mind when you read the Bible, because it's all good. It's all good. Well, I'm not going to find it, so we'll just go on with our lesson. I got it underlined. I don't know why I can't find it. I got it underlined and everything else. But it just don't come up. Okay, we just go with our lesson. Turn to John 14:27. If you want to read with me. These are all good things that he has in store for his people. It says, peace I leave with you, my peace I give unto you. Not as the world giveth. What kind of peace does the world give? The peace the world gives is very temporary. His peace will last forever. Let not your heart be troubled, neither let it be afraid. A lot of people today with troubled hearts. God can give you perfect peace from all that. You have heard how I said unto you, I go away and come again unto you. If ye love me, you would rejoice, because I said, I go into my Father, and my Father is greater than I. Turn to Luke 179. Back up to 78, says, though that through the tender mercies of our God, whereby the day spring come on high, hath visited us, to give light, listen, to give light to them that sit in darkness. That has a dual meaning. And in the shadow of death, to guide our feet unto a way of peace. I don't know how many of you looked at the paper this morning. The obituary was almost full, half a page at least this morning. And I made a comment. Well, look how many of these are young people. They're 40s, they're 50s. So that tells you that a lot of people are living in the shadow of death. I guess we all are to a point, because from the day we're born we start dying. If some, it happens some earlier than others. Seen in the paper this morning where they had a nice article about a lady, she just turned 99 years old. People are living much longer now than they did 50, 60 years ago. But that's nothing compared to how people lived in the Old Testament. You wonder why did it take Noah, Methuselah, and Enoch, how long they lived? It's something to really think about. Is it possible for this day and time to preach? But that ain't what God promises. What He promises, what is it, 70 and 7? But you know, I seen on the news this morning where a young man lost his life because of his own foolishness. Driving extremely fast, no seatbelt, hit a tree, he left this world. So we can hurry up our leaving this world. Like I've said before, I like it here. You know, I enjoy life. That's why I can't understand why so many people are on drugs. I enjoy life. I don't need anything else. I enjoy my family, enjoy my wife. When I work, I enjoy my job. That's like Randy. I think Randy enjoys his job. If he didn't, he'd already quit, I guess. But it's good to be able to enjoy just life itself and the things that's all around you. Read a little note I made this morning. We read this to Sandra last night. Happiness can only be attained by loving, growing, belonging. You have to belong to somebody, sharing, and giving. Now this last one, giving. I know Kay has done it many times. How does it make you feel when you give and help somebody that really is in need? Does it make you feel good? You better believe it does. So these are the things that will make you happy. Loving someone, belonging to someone, giving yourself of yourself. It's not altogether money that will help people. It's the giving of yourself to them. Letting them know you are there for them. If they need a as the old saying goes, if they need a shoulder to cry on, be there for that. That will be more to them than any amount of money you could give them. Turn to Luke 10:5. I like this verse. And, you know, it's good that when people come into the house, especially the house of God, it says, and to do into whatever house you enter, say, peace be unto this house. And if the Son of Peace be there, your peace shall rest upon it. If not, it shall turn to you again. That's just like when this last, not the last one, but the one before last. When he went out the door, he went, said he was going to dust the feet, dust off of his feet. Well, I was a little slow on the uptake. I should have grabbed the broom and swept the dust right out with him, I guess. But, you know, anyway, the Bible talks about that. But the reason he was doing that was because we wouldn't agree with what they were trying to preach and teach. Now, we're going to go to other churches. And in fact, the older man, the father of the pastor of this church, wants us to stay here, but we can't do that. I can't. I can come maybe occasionally, but not right away. But anyway, he wants me to permanently keep a key. He wants me to come and worship with us. But you know, we will be going to other churches. And some of these churches are going to preach and teach things that we might not believe or might not see. You know, there's that word again. If you haven't been enlightened to what they're preaching and teaching, then how are you going to know? But the thing is, regardless of where we go and what we hear, we will not cause any problem in that church. We'll just swallow it and go on. Because that is not our place to do that. I know years ago, people used to get so wrapped up in the preaching and teaching. I don't know where any of you know where Briar Hill is or not. You, Randy, you know where it's called Briar Hill? Okay. Mom and Dad went to church there many years ago. And those people were so intense in what they believed and what they thought and what was coming out of the pulpit. I seen two men actually getting in a big fist fight right in front of the pulpit.
Was this in Ohio or Kentucky?
It's
I tell
here.
you, well, that's where they was from, so, you know. But that is carrying it too far.
Yeah.
All right, where is the love of God if you're striking another man with your fist?
Yeah, but then they'll quote you that old scripture they like to beat about with using the sword, you know, when they disagree, you know. Haven't you heard them put that one out every time you don't agree with them
Yeah,
on
Peter
how they
cut the
interpret
man's ear off,
scripture?
but what did God do? I put the ear back on. So, you know.
They don't quote that. There's
See,
a
there again,
selective
you're
reasoning
not
of
following
scriptures.
through with what the Bible is saying. Yes, Peter cut the man's ear off,
And you know,
but
the one-
instantly he knew he'd done wrong too.
and another one I love that people just absolutely misuse all pieces is take your ought to your brother. Really? Your brother didn't even know you had anything against him, and here you go. You know, what you just create.
Well-
You followed your little reading of that one little verse. But you
There
don't
you
read
go.
the whole story, you know, and now there's a problem.
You know, I've talked before, and I know people that's done this, and they're still doing it for 50, 60 years, are holding a grudge.
Yeah?
Who does that grudge hurt? That person holding it. A lot of times, the person you're holding a grudge against don't even know that this is going on. So who's it hurt? That's why the Bible